Hello. Time to play with rhinestones and mouse skulls. I should actually get my rhinestones out. Today I'm going to mess with the ones I think are not going to work. So, I bought 2 types of rhinestones. I bought cheap and I bought fancy. And I don't think the cheap ones are great. So, I mean, they're okay, but they're just not as fancy. But we'll see. So I'm going to glue these to a mouse skull and see if I like them. And, go from there. Probably want another container for these, actually. Just use this little lid. Okay. All sorts of stuff. Where do I want to start? Actually, I should probably start with soaking my mouse jaws. So, alright, so I've got my little skulls that I'm working on. Little meese skulls. And neither of my jawbones... I hadn't tried, so neither of the jawbones are particularly nice right now. So one is way too wide, and one is way too narrow. And so I basically have to soften the cartilage that's still holding these guys together so that I can reshape it to the correct width so I can attach it back to those other jaws. So for that, plink. This is just water. So hopefully those will just soften up pretty quick on. And then I'll have to pin them into the shape I want, but I'm not too worried, so I'll put that off to the side. And I have this really remarkably nice styrofoam that came in some packaging, so I'll make a little tiny drawing board for those guys when they're ready. It's not yet, so I'll put that off to there right now. But there's no reason I can't start putting rhinestones on one of these. I think both of these have a slightly lifted, shoot, what's the rostrum called? Nuts! I gotta look that up, hold on. There's a word. I want to make sure I have the word. I'm trying to get better at using the specific language for the specific bone bits. Premaxilla. Yeah. I need to get the part of the sinus cover of the premaxilla back on. To there. Correct words. And I think that one's lifted. This one's not. This one's actually in pretty good shape. But I don't know how well these... I'll zoom the camera in. Boop. Boop, boop. Properties. Configure video. And zoom. Okay, so that one's the good one. So you can see this like lifted bit right here versus the other one's nice and smooth. So I could soak this guy. I guess I might as well soak it and see if I can lay that back down. Okay, yeah, no, that's going with the jaws. Okay, so I will not work on that one today. So that means I have this little guy that I'm gonna do. So yeah, cute little mouse skull. No lower mandible yet, and I will get that on soon. But this is just a little feeder mouse. Mouse was intended originally to be fed to snakes, so they came in bulk freezer bags to be used as reptile food. Already dead, and the freezer defrosted, and so the owner of said snakes did not want to give them to the snakes, so I instead got the mice. Got 3 of them. So okay, I'm gonna move my focus back. Boop. Save. Okay. Alright. But they're great for doing little crafty experiments with. Been real happy with that. You know what? I grabbed some pins, but that was preemptive, so I'll put them on here for use later. Alright, get that out of the way. So, tiny little mouse skull, and get my rhinestones out. You know, I have a better container I can put the rhinestones in. Let me get that. I keep forgetting I bought all these great little boxes, and of course I have to find them. Let's see. Thought I had more. I had like 6 of them. Oh, this one I can definitely use. Because it just contains broken ceramics I'm not going to use. So, clean that back out. Alright. Tiny little jewelry box. Put my tiny, tiny little rhinestones into. Yeah. These are really small. They are in fact actually smaller than the rhinestones I used on the last skull, so we'll see if they're actually too small, because before I was like, oh, these rhinestones are huge on here, I don't like them, but now I might be proven wrong. They do look nice in that little box, though. Okay, so I'm actually going to put ones I'm working on in here, because they'll be easier to pick up, and if I, you know, bonk it or something, I'm only losing a couple dozen of them as opposed to the whole container. Trying to set myself up for success here. Get my very fancy picker out. I continue to be impressed with how much I like this thing, rhinestones and all. I was bummed though when I bought it. I thought I'd be able to use the crystals that are inside of it, but no, they're just decorative. So that's a sealed tube with a wax applicator on one end and a poker on the other. That's okay. Let's see, can I get the light a little closer? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So last time I did one of these mouse skulls, I had pretty good luck just starting from the center of the top of the head. There's some dried tissue on here. So I think I'll just do what I did last time. That seemed to work out pretty well. My pitfalls last time was I managed to get a lot of extraneous glue on the skull, and I did not like that. So, I don't care if it's on the bone, but I don't want it like coating and crusting around the rhinestones. So, you gotta be mindful this time. Ooh, and the last time I got this Aran Alpha out, it had started to dry in the tube, and it came out in a weird fountain and coated the side of my workspace, my microphone, and my cat carriers that are next to my desk. So here's hoping I managed to not have that happen this time. Okay, yeah. Looking good. I might actually have to get wax paper off with this. Yeah. No, I'll keep that if that dries up too fast. And you know what? I probably should get... Oh, hey, Not Here! Glad you can make it. I think I'm actually going to need a regular old tooth... Oh, no, I do have toothpicks. Ha ha! Thank you, me of the past, for remembering. I do need a regular old toothpick. So you can kind of see... Let me change the focus again here. Configure video. Zoop. I can get even closer than that. Let's see. Okay, so configure video. Yeah, it's being weird. This guy. There we go. You can really see the different, like, bone areas in the head. You know, there's multiple plates that make a skull, so you can kind of see that central line, and then there's a line here, and a line back here. So I can actually kind of use those to make sure I'm centering things, which is super nice. But yeah, he looks good real up close. This is a cute little mouse. Those great little twofers. I don't put rhinestones on the teeth. I like having the those nice iron-filled rodent teeth really obvious at the end. And I haven't been doing anything to like cover up the nasal opening, so meh. And then this will get covered because the bottom jaw is going to be glued on here later. Not yet, but we'll get to that point. Alright, move this back. Zoop. Alright. Actually, before I do anything, are these just soft yet? Wouldn't that be fun? Oh yeah, it softened up real quick. Oh, well shoot. Okay, I'm not going to glue yet. I'm going to go ahead and pin these things so they dry faster. I don't have any tweezers readily available. That's okay. Okay, so my teensy weensy little jaw here. Oh yeah, that just moves easy, easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That might be too far. Okay, so it's this forest of pins to get this jaw in the shape that I want, but I actually feel really good about that. I realized I forgot to get pins for the other jawbone, so boop, those guys. My ever trusty T-pins. So useful. So good. Alright, let's get the other guy out of here. Yeah, these softened up really well. Good, good, good. This is when I was lazy. I should have done better when I initially was drying them out. But I hadn't had a plan on how I was going to use them, so I just wasn't thinking about it. But still, super lazy. Could have done better. Trying to do better now. Alright. So I got my two jawbones rearranged here, so hopefully those will dry within a couple hours. So I won't be able to put them on the skull today, but they'll be ready to go. And then let's see if that just dealt with my mediocre sinuses here. Can I just lay this down? Yeah. Oh, nice, 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 nice. Alright, cool. So that will just dry up fine. That takes no real effort. Alright, cool. Well, that's good. I'm glad that those were kind of non-issues. So I don't have to pin the skull so that it is in the right spot, but I do pin it just so it doesn't fall off. So there, now it won't slip off my workspace. Okay, so these guys, I won't be able to do anything with bedazzling them today. You know, I want this a little tighter now that I'm looking at it. Being a little squirrely, but I'm set up for next time. So put these up and out of the way. Alright, cool. Well, I feel better about that because I loved having the lower jaw on the one tester mouse that I did do. So I'm glad to have that available. Alright, so back to this little friend who already has a perfect premaxillaris. I don't have to fix it. Hooray. Water dish can just go down there for the moment. Okie dokie. And then when I'm done, I'll put it back in here. Let's see. Yeah, so now I just have to start. It's always scary to put, like, the first one on. You're like, am I doing the wrong thing? Because it's such a cute little skull to begin with, but it's fine. The mouse doesn't care. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be fine. A little bit of super glue on there. Pick up a tiny little rhinestone. Okay, well, and off we go. Ah, see, already they're starting to come loose. Getting the right amount of adhesive on here is so hard because, like, I didn't like having it creep up the sides of my beads, but on the other hand, it's got to stick to something. Flip this friend over. Come on, flip over. Merp. Man! Be a whole feed of me just trying to get, there we go, rhinestones in the right orientation. Okay, so I've added significantly more glue. Let's see if that actually sticks. Yeah, now it actually looks wet, which pros and cons, I guess. Oh, that looks really weird. You know, actually this is cool too, because I had been thinking it would look strange if the skull was left natural, and I'm continuing to think that. I think if I'm going to be putting really dark colored rhinestones on like this, I might need to somehow paint or pigment or dye or something like that the basic little skull, so that the gaps between the rhinestones don't just look humongous and strange. And I had a rhinestone go flying off. Boop. I'm really only using these mice as testers because I happen to have mice without knowing what to do with them. But I think in the future, if I'm doing like a project for realsies, it's going to be something bigger. Because these are just so teensy-weensy. And trying to get stuff to obey me on such a tiny little space is challenging. Wow, yeah, these don't want to stick at all. I don't know about these rhinestones. This could be that cheapity plastic is not gonna work here. And I mean, I was having trouble when I did this with the glass rhinestones, where they sort of sucked until they suddenly kind of didn't. So I might have some sort of aha moment with this, but I don't know. So far it just looks like I've given this like extra spider eyes, which is pretty funny. Really wants to be in the middle. Okay, it's going to be in the middle. Let's try some edging ones here. Well, I'm already slightly askew, but okay, we'll try it. Yeah, I love this tool. It's so cool to have the exact right tool. And up until a couple months ago, I didn't even know there was one. But yeah, it does literally the thing. Ooh, this is interesting too. The stones are small enough and the workspaces, or the stones are big enough, the stones are, the ratios are of such that if you're off by even a little bit, you can see it, but even worse, these stones have, not abnormalities, but they're not completely finished. They're not 100% round. The facets weren't totally cut right, so there's little, like, flash bits sticking off the sides, and they're really obvious to me from up here, but maybe once I get enough on, I won't care. Which is totally possible. Cheap stuff. It's like it's cheap. Because, I figured I'd try the cheap stuff. Let's see if it does enough. Does the thing I want. And save myself a little bit of money. However, so not impressed. Am I just using super glue? Yeah, I'm still using the super glue. There's another product called J6000 or F6000 or something like that, that seems to be the jam. That seems to be what people use for a lot of projects along these lines, and I simply haven't taken the effort yet to go get some. So... Oh, which reminds me, I have been meaning to set up an Amazon wish list on here, and so that would be a great little thing that I could put on the Amazon wish list, and people could just send to me and feel good about it. Here's a $7 tube of adhesive kind of thing. So that might be my inaugural thing on there is, please buy me the nice adhesive. Well, or the appropriate adhesive. This stuff is nice. But... And it's hard because it does work for this. It is sticking, rhinestones on a skull, but it travels. The thin viscosity, which is the whole reason I got it, is actually sort of working against me here because it travels around the gems and sort of dulls them a little bit. No. I'm getting faster. Like, that already looks like something. I don't know what it looks like, but it's a something. So, that's kind of fun. So I'm getting used to this adorable tool. So not here. You'll appreciate the continuing saga of making pie. I made pumpkin pie yesterday again, and my first pumpkin pie I made for Thanksgiving was too wet. The pumpkin itself was just really, really, really juicy, and so the pie ended up more of a pudding, which was delicious. It was tasty, but it was wrong. It wasn't what I wanted. And so I strained some of the remaining pumpkin from that guy, and yesterday I made an additional pumpkin pie with much drier pumpkin. I was feeling really good about it. And I was trying to multitask, so you already know where this story's going. And I pre-mixed up the... Wow, that's a weird... Put that off to the side. I pre-mixed up the filling for the pumpkin pie, and then got dinner ready, and we actually had the pie going while dinner was being cooked and then while we were eating dinner. And I felt all cool and efficient and blah, 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 blah. And then we actually didn't get around to eating it last night. I had it in the fridge because it's pumpkin pie and it needs to, finish setting. And it was going to be breakfast. So we go and we get our slices for breakfast, and it was still pretty moist, and I was like, maybe I should have left it in longer, blah, 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 blah. And we take our bites and go, aw. And upon review, realized that I had completely forgotten to put sugar in it. Just totally got distracted doing dinner prep and did not put any sugar in my pie filling. It's not good. It's not bad, but it's incomplete. So breakfast was a little bummer of an event there. And now I have a very soft pumpkin pie that it's not great. So I was poking around online trying to find ways I could salvage this. And so I think for my for tea time today, I'm going to make yogurt pumpkin parfaits. Yeah, and actually no, that's exactly it. So I'm gonna take the pumpkin pie and probably still mix some sugar in it, so it'll break it up a little bit, but it'll be okay. And then I'm gonna put. I thought about whipped cream, Lush Kitty, but the yogurt. I want the weight. I want the substance in this case, and so I'm gonna actually do a layer of resweetened pumpkin, a layer of sweetened yogurt. I was originally thinking honey, but ooh, maple syrup is tantalizing, and then layer of pumpkin, layer of yogurt, and kind of go that route. So that's how I think I might try to salvage this, because I did a bad job. I'm so annoyed. And it's so funny to remember that sugar is a flavor enhancer. And so even though my pumpkin, I already made a pumpkin pie using this exact pumpkin and the exact number of spices or quantities of spices, this was so bland because the sugar, even though the spices were in there, the sugar wasn't activating them. Yeah, no, parfaits to the rescue. Parfait is a great food format for elevating your stuff. So, yeah. The pie saga continues. So that means now I have to make a third pumpkin pie, obviously, to keep trying to hit perfection. Lush Kitty, your dad does whipped cream and uses a whole can of Ready Whip on one slice. Oh, your dad is brilliant. I see no flaw at all in this gentleman's plan. I like making my own whipped cream. Like, when I have a good pumpkin pie, which again, I have yet to do this season, but when I have a good pumpkin pie, I, not only do I make my own whipped cream, thank you very much, I flavor it with bourbon. Bourbon whipped cream on pumpkin pie, let me tell you guys, is seriously delightful. And I'll use bourbon often instead of vanilla. So I don't flavor my whipped cream with vanilla if I'm using the bourbon. It's got sugar in it, obviously, but... So that's... But not for this. I think for salvaging this yogurt thing... I might go maple, though. Not here, you have a really good idea with that. So yeah, that's my pie saga. Calvin. Hi, Calvin. Also, hi, Shard Mom. Good to see you. Yeah, also putting things on ice cream. Lush Kitty, thank you. Yeah, when in doubt, you can pretty much put anything on ice cream and it's fixed. It becomes a good dessert. So, and I mean, you could make this into ice cream pretty well. Like, do the freezing mixing thing. So I could actually probably make a pretty decent pumpkin ice cream. Actually, yeah, I think I'm sold on my current parfait idea, but now I'm thinking pumpkin ice cream thoughts, which are really lovely thoughts. I recommend them to anybody. Fill your mind with pumpkin ice cream thoughts. Nope, not enough over there. Hey everybody, by the way. Nice to have you all hanging out for my extra stream here. So I think this project is going to be a bad one. I don't think this is going to work out at all. It's interesting to do these little experiments, because sometimes you hit on a winner and sometimes you don't, and it's always worth trying. But it looks weird, right? That's kind of weird. Oh, Shard Mom, you said you missed what I was talking about. To catch you up, I ruined a pumpkin pie last night. So this is trying to repair my failure. I was multitasking. I was trying to make pie and dinner at the same time, and so I pre-mixed the pumpkin pie filling, then got dinner rolling, and then poured the pumpkin pie filling into a pie pan, got that in the oven, and it was baking while we were eating dinner, so I could get it out at the end of dinner and then move it on. And in my rush, I guess, in my distracted state, as I'm mixing the pumpkin pie ingredients, I completely omitted sugar. Which, as most people know, sugar is fairly crucial to pies and desserts in general. Yeah, so that's a bummer. And so now I have a lovely pumpkin pie. It looks great. It's still a little on the soft side. So I tried actually running my pumpkin through, because this is a pumpkin I roasted, running it through cheesecloth and squeezing out a bunch of the excess moisture, which helped a lot. But, it's still a little on the soft side, so I'm still tweaking that. But in this particular case, the whole lack of sugar thing is a much more pressing issue. So, Not Here and Lush Kitty are helping me to try and workshop what I can do with completely bland pumpkin pie. And so I could turn into ice cream, because that's a pretty solid answer, actually. I was thinking, for tea time today, after my stream, I might try making a pumpkin parfait. So it'd be probably mixed up with a little sugar into it, but a layer of pumpkin, a layer of sweetened yogurt, layer of pumpkin sweetened yogurt. Ooh, and I could toast pecans. I could see putting pecans either just on top or between the layers, potentially. That would go really well with the yogurt part, for sure. So, I'm not going to let it go to waste. It's perfectly fine food. It's just, kind of bland. So... and that's where I'm at. So now you're caught up on the drama, as it were. And there we go. Oh, and then for everybody who was on during my stream yesterday, how did you feel about the raid at the end? Did you have a nice time over at Bonsai Baby? I was playing with all the controls, so it wasn't like a smooth transition, but I'm interested to see how that felt for you guys as the audience. Yeah, well, thank you, Shard Mom. I hope so. I've had some pretty good dessert mistakes work out, The application of more flavor and more sugar usually works out pretty well. Lush Kitty, it was fun? Okay. Bonsai Baby was hilarious with how nice she was about it. Here, I was worried, because she's got a lot of followers. She's kind of a big deal, and so I didn't know if she would care that I raided, and she was so sweet. Yeah, I loved that. That was so sweet and kind. So, Chardon Mom, I know you weren't on, and Not Here, I don't think you were anymore. We raided another channel, because I've recently learned that raiding is a great way to, get your name out there. It's networking. So if you raid other people's channels, it gets them to follow you, or to, gives you some exposure. They'll come over and see your stuff. And it's just like a nice huggy way to network. And so we went and raided a channel of someone I don't personally know. Bonsai Baby is a makers and crafting streamer who does a lot of wood shop stuff. She's big tools and planks of wood and stuff like that. She's very cool. And yeah, she had cheering and all these automatic things in her chat that popped up thank yous, and she was just a lot of fun. She rang a bell so hard it fell apart, which she was a little concerned about, but it was just very sweet. So yeah, it's something I want to try and do more often, because it feels nice to network and be supportive of other people on Twitch who are doing stuff that I'm interested in. And man, if everybody's that much fun, I gotta up my game. I don't have any specific bells and whistles if someone comes and raids my channel. So, but it was just very nice, I felt. And Bonsai Baby is kind of famously high energy. She streams for 8 hours at a time, and she's just going it the whole time. It's crazy. Yeah, it was kind of funny when the bell broke. I felt sort of bad, but she was just that excited. And she'll probably find a way to fix it. She's very crafty. So yeah, more Twitch stuff I'm learning about, trying to get out into the community, and it was really nice. So, alright. So yeah, I do think I'd have to dye the skull. Yeah, no, it was real nice. It was real sweet. So yeah, the black, it's covering enough that it's not completely ridiculous, but the white in there is kind of a weird pattern, so I can see, for future skull, dyeing it somehow. Aw, Lush Kitty, thank you. Um, that's a good, I don't know if I'd seen that one. So, yeah, this continues. It's an interesting experiment. Lush Kitty, you just want to keep your place as the undisputed master of cheering. I tell you. Bonsai Baby loved that. That was so cute. She thought you were just phenomenal. Because you are. So. That's the sort of stuff I really like about Twitch as a platform. Is, man, people... There's a great capacity for people being really positive and nice. You know, they give you infrastructure for that. There's a really good culture around it, which I super appreciate. Yeah, and it should be fun. Like, how wonderful is that? It's fun. Good. Being nice should be incentivized. Being nice should be fun. How wonderful. Oh, hey, Chardon Mom, you'll find this kind of funny. I've got this little lid that I'm using to hold my rhinestones. If you want to guess, not here might be able to guess this too, what this lid was used to belong to. I would be curious to see if you recognize it on the internet after all these years. Oh, unicorns are real, by the way. No, I'm down. Bring it. You're a farmer. I instantly believe all things you say about animals. Because that's how that works. So it's pretty basic blue lid. Actually, here, if I get my rhinestones out of it, you can see this. But this is a stretch. I don't know if you necessarily would recognize it, but I'm wondering if you recognize it. It says Fairdale, Cincinnati, Ohio on the lid, but that's not really a giveaway. But yeah, so Chardon Mom or potentially not here. I want to know if you guys recognize this vessel. Okay, so not here has no idea. Because this is a great case of I don't throw anything away, ever. And I try to find uses for all things. It is funny the stuff I realize I still own, like when I really timestamp something. Like, earlier this week, I was wearing ski socks from possibly middle school, definitely high school. I am 39. Like, okay, you give up? This is the lid off of one of my retainer cases from high school. I still have the cases. I don't think I have the retainers anymore. I think those might have gotten chewed up by dogs or something like that in the past, but I still have the boxes that my retainers had to go in, my dental retainers in from high school. So, there you go. Yeah, they're really useful. Because the bottom of this, here, I can grab it actually. Here's the bottom of the container. It's so useful because it's got these little holes drilled in it. So if I want to have something that's in a nice, like, closed container but has airflow, this is a really useful little box. Because that was the whole point with the retainers. You could put your nasty, boggy thing out of your mouth and into here, and it wouldn't get as stinky. But thank you for not saving the retainer. If I find it, though, I will just not let you know. I don't think I still have it. I do still have my wisdom teeth. Those are in a jewelry box in my bedroom. So I still have my wisdom teeth. Those I'm not giving up. Heck, at the time I didn't give them up without a fight, so... Bedazzle my wisdom teeth. They'd be better to bedazzle something else with, because like some of the ones that were really far back had to be cut up to be removed from my jaw, so they're in pieces. But I still got them. Yeah, actually, I think it's quite poetic that the very first bones I've ever cleaned were my own. I don't think I ever did anything else. Patreon reward tier. Oh my god, no. But when I got my wisdom teeth after the surgery, they were still covered in chunks of me. They had meaty roots and gum bits, and they were all bloody and horrible. And they gave them to me in a like a little plastic baggie, and so I boiled them. Shard Mom, I don't know if you remember that, but I actually boiled my wisdom teeth and picked all of the like roots out of them and picked all the old tissue out, and so my wisdom teeth are beautifully clean, and in a little jewelry box. So, yeah, I could do a tiny little mosaic of teeth, just a little tile, like a decorative tile of my own teeth. But yeah, no, let it be known, if I ever have to get like a whole limb amputated, it's freaking mine. Like, no one can keep that. They can if it has to be amputated, fine, but it's mine. I want that. If I have to have an organ removed, it's mine. I grew it myself. I want it back. I worked hard on those wisdom teeth I never used. You know, keep them for a rainy day. Who knows what I'll use them for? Because I might. It's me. Although if I use my wisdom teeth for something, it's going to be for something I'm going to keep. I'm not going to give away my wisdom teeth. Not after all that work, obviously. I mean, obviously. Alright. Yeah, so I've got basically the top done at this point. I'll be able to go down the sides and I can do the zygomatic arches, and the maxilla. So I've got the pre-maxilla pretty much covered. I'll do the maxilla, and I can do the eye orbits and the zygomatic arches, but I don't want to go too far down because I still have to glue on the bottom jaw when they dry. But, Mr. Frightful, you never had your wisdom teeth out? Oh, they just pulled the back molars. Well, did you get to keep the back molars? Right? Yeah, retainer cases worth literally thousands of dollars. Oh my god, I like orthodontics, man. That stuff's crazy. So I hope you like the end result. But oh, those retainers, that was such a nightmare. But I appreciate the little box. I have them. I've got like 2 or 3 of these bumping around still. I've used them for stuff. So, you know, you make the best of it. Weird 90s culture. Everybody got pressured to get orthodontics. Yeah, I don't remember a ton about getting my wisdom teeth out. I do remember that I woke up from the anesthesia in the middle of a McDonald's milkshake, chocolate milkshake. It was like halfway gone, and I just remember sitting in the car and asking my dad where the other half of my milkshake was, and he just starts laughing because apparently I had picked it out and, you know, said I wanted a chocolate milkshake and drank it, but the anesthesia being what it was, I hadn't really like retained any memory of the event until I had drank about half of it. Anesthesia's weird. And then, Mr. Frightful, since you're on, and I know that working with skulls and kind of spooky stuff is your thing, have you ever tried gluing rhinestones or anything to an actual skull? And if so, what adhesive did you use? I'm still in the market for a good one for that. I don't think I still have one of my retainers. Now I'm pretty sure I let those go. There's a level of gross and not fond memories. You know, like the retainers did a thing, but it wasn't a pleasant thing, you know. So, meh. I liked my orthodontist. I didn't really like my orthodontury event. No blinging. You just like the skulls. No, it's good stuff. I love them. It's so satisfying when you get the bones, like, really, really clean. We didn't do a ton of bone work in my lab, because we just didn't have a good setup for it. We were set up to do, skin mounting taxidermy. Bone prep takes a lot of time and or bugs, and we couldn't have bugs in the museum. But we had some good ones. Oh, actually, I'll put up my AFK message for a second so you guys can look at the picture, because this is worth it. So anybody who hasn't seen my AFK or hadn't thought about it, look at this guy. So that is a bobcat skull that was at the Nature Museum. That bobcat was collected in the 1920s. I don't remember the exact year anymore. And somebody had presumably skinned it and then taken the carcass, partially cleaned, or maybe not cleaned at all. It's really hard to say, but definitely not clean. And tied it up with twine and threw it in a box in a corner, and then it was forgotten for nearly 100 years, pushing 100 years. And so when it was found, it was this nightmare. It looked like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, where it's this skeleton with sharp, pointy teeth that had been trussed up with twine, and then bugs had attacked it, and so the whole thing is just coated in dried bug bodies and shed skins and poop and all this. Like, it was so just phenomenally grody. For like 100 years. So someone basically forgot about it in a corner of a museum for 100 years. Archives are weird. And so we found it, and the question was, what can you do with it? And we started cleaning it, and unfortunately that's a project that didn't get finished because it was such a large one, but it was coming along. And so there's one where I had a volunteer named Carlos, who's just a fantastic human, who was taking point on that, trying to clean up this whole thing and trying to find good methods for cleaning these really old bobcat bones. And that I'll show you guys the picture of the skull again, because I think it's worth it. But you can see on the skull, it's right when we pulled it out of the bag, so it's yellow, it's got stuff on it. You can see like some of the old mummified tissue. So here, let me show that again. Yeah, like, oh, that old gnarly thing. That was such a cool project. So, weird old bobcat from the 20s. And, like, whoever had tied up the carcass tied it so firmly that cinching the twine actually cut through some of the bone. Like, they kind of crushed one of the shoulders. It was very weird. Like, just throw it away, man. Like, I'm glad to have had it. We were gonna get it into the research collection, but it was just such a weird, like, afterthought of a specimen. Very, very strange. Although luckily, when it's that old, it does not smell anymore. So, it was gross, but not actually stinky. And we actually saved most of the frass, most of the insect poop and sheds and stuff like that, because I'm like, I don't know if this has value, but there's a lot of it, so let's sweep it all up and put it in a container and label it. And, you know, I'd like to think that at some point in the future, some weird researcher is going to be really glad I did that for some reason that I actually don't know, but I do tend to save everything. It's coming along. Yeah, that's starting to go. I still don't love this, but it's interesting. I mean, it's visually interesting. And on a bigger specimen, this might look better, but I still think I'd want to dye, at least tone down. You know, this is so bright white because I bleached the skull with hydrogen peroxide. If it was at least a slightly tone down like gray or something. Might go better. Meh. These aren't dry yet. For anybody who missed the beginning of my stream, I had to reposition the jawbones. So here in these forest of pins are the two lower mandibles and the other skull. The other skull, the premaxilla was out of alignment, so the nasal bones basically were kind of sticking up. And then the jawbones, there's a little bit of cartilage right here that holds your jaw together. Everybody's jaw is kind of two bones, you know, left side, right side, and there's a little bit right here that holds them together. With the mice, I hadn't dried these correctly, and so one of them was way too wide and one was way too narrow. What are the pins called? Oh, delightfully, T-pins, because they're shaped like giant T's. I do need smaller pins. I do have some insect pins I could have used for this if I had dug them out, but yeah, these are kind of huge. But yeah, T-pins. How wonderful is that, right? I love T-pins. They're great for all sorts of crafting, because you have such a good grip on them. It's not like using a ball-tipped pin where the plastic ball can come off, or even just the classic like hammer top pin that you have to grab maybe with pliers. T-pins are just really friendly. And in this case, honkin' big. I could use a wider variety of pins, so Library Rat, you're totally right. But yeah, so I won't be able to put the jaw on today. These have to completely dry. It'll probably take... I own plenty of sewing pins. I'm trying to keep them separate from these projects, but I might have to, like, create a subsection of sewing pins to go along with stuff like this. It's hard doing this in my house, because I have to keep stuff that touches dead things separate from the rest of my things, mostly because I want my spouse to love me. So, you know, it's good hygiene, good practices. Oh, and actually, while I'm messing around on that shelf, for anybody who hadn't seen it, here's my first blinged skull. So, this one is with glass-based beads that are meant to be used for, like, fingernails. And so, here's our little friend coming along. So far, I really like the more expensive rhinestones, which I guess is not the most shocking thing I could ever say. But I figured I'd try cheap rhinestones, and let me tell you, they're cheap. Like, got what I paid for, but it's alright. I'm glad I tried them. Because if I'd been happier with cheap ones, like, pff, great. I have a friend who, I don't think Claire's on right now, but Claire's on here a lot, who, Mr. Frightful, I feel like the two of you would have a great time chatting at some point in the future, because she collects cool skulls, and she cleans skulls and sells them, and just her collection is absolutely breathtaking. It includes a juvenile giraffe skull, and that was found out in the wild, and so this juvenile giraffe had died naturally, and it's kind of not a surprise, like his head was kind of malformed, so they've got those two little horns, and one of them is kind of bent in. So it's a giraffe that didn't giraffe very well, unfortunately, but she got a skull, and she's very happy with it, and she has, like, all these other varieties. She's got the world's biggest freaking opossum skull I've ever seen in my life. Just really, really cool stuff. She does beetle cleaning, so she actually has the delightful habitat full of flesh-eating beetles that clean up her stuff for her in her stinky, stinky, stinky shed. But it's, you know, it's stinky in the nicest way. It is pretty funny when you start to associate smells with various things, like, you know, certain types of rotting flesh smell kind of positive to me. Not good. Very specific word choice there, but they smell positive. Like, oh, hey! Hooray! So, yeah. Oh, Lush Kitty, thank you! Again, you're red hot playing with all these elements of Twitch. Oh, and because of our conversation yesterday about Amazon subscriptions, I realized that I hadn't actually tied my own Amazon subscription to Twitch yet. And so I got mine set up yesterday and then subscribed to Pseudonym. So, yeah, I'm trying to get on this game. And then another friend of mine was just streaming Makers and Crafting for the first time today. And I'm really hoping he keeps up with it, because he does, like, paper crafts. Okay, Lush Kitty, thank you so much. You're so great, and having you on here is always a highlight. So thank you, my dear. Have a great day. What? I wonder, can I check on here? Let me open a new tab and see if anybody I know is online. Because I really want to keep doing this rating thing. Yeah, it looks like he's online. So, might actually go raid him again. He's making... so, my friend does... oh, Library Rat. Okay, let me answer that and then I will wax poetic about why not. So, Amazon. If you have an Amazon Prime account... you can tie it, or you can activate your Amazon gaming account, or your Prime gaming account through Twitch, and it's on your taskbar, or your toolbar on Twitch on the very top on the right-hand side if you're using a browser. And so you activate your Prime gaming account, and one of the perks of that, along with discounts and free games and gaming stuff, is you can subscribe to somebody's Twitch channel for a month just for free. So every month you get it refreshes and you can subscribe to somebody for 1 month. And so everybody basically has a free subscription, which means I still get paid, but you don't have to pay any money. So, right? Pretty cool, eh? So, we were talking about that yesterday as a way that people can really be supportive of Twitch streamers that they like, with even if you're not in a place where you want to be spending a lot of money on it. Which I respect. Apparently there's not enough glue there. Yeah, no, it's real great. So, there's some real benefits to having Twitch being owned by Amazon. You know, they've tied that in there nicely where they're really supporting people using the stuff. So... yeah, so anybody you know who has an Amazon account, if they activate Amazon Prime, support your favorite streamers. Or even the ones you only sort of like. Oh, and then to go back to my friend, Wynok does paper crafting where he cuts up cardboard and then sculpts it into these just phenomenal 3D objects that are very tactile. You can, like, if he makes a giant, you know, comic war hammer, or comedic looking hammer, which he has one that I just love, you can play with it. You know, you don't want to hit anybody too hard, it's still cardboard, but you can swing it around, you can hold it. He's just got a really good hand for it, and so he's doing some sort of weaponry today. It looked like some sort of spear. And the guy is just massively talented in these, like, cool 3D things. He's just good with paper. Like, everybody's got a medium, I feel, and his medium is cardboard and paper, like, heavy paper stock. And having that cool 3D, like, physical element, he's real good, so... And it's one where I think I had always been quietly hoping that he was going to start streaming, but I didn't want to be a pest. I kind of wanted to be a pest, but I didn't want to be a pest. And it's just delightful to me to see him on there. Although he's on Eastern time, which means that I only noticed he was streaming right before lunch, and then I streamed directly after lunch, so I haven't had a chance to really watch him, but... but I, talk to him anyway. I don't need him to be different. Yeah, and Library Rat, you're now streaming, and I love that. I just like, more talented people on here that I can then, like, watch over your shoulders while you're doing cool things, makes me happy. So, yeah, Mr. Frightful, if you're going to be streaming anytime soon, please tell us. I'm very curious about your stuff. And we all know that if Shard Mom was going to stream, it would all be Calvin sleeping. So we could watch live streams of an adorable toddler having a nap. Which, other than the vaguely creepy factor, would actually be somewhat nice. So... Okay, that's starting to move down the sides. Pretty good on there. Might do like one or two more, but I don't want to cover down too far because I want to be able to get that jaw back on. I am so much faster at this than I was the first time. I mean, fine, practice makes perfect, but I am impressed at how much faster I'm going. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I'll do the zygomatic arch and the maxilla, and then flip to the other side. I actually need more sequins. Luckily I have that. Yeah, look how small these are. Like, poppy seeds. These are the smallest sequins I could readily find. I wouldn't be surprised if someone makes something smaller, but these are the smallest, easily available sequins. And they are delightfully small, so I'm happy with that product. So the main thing that I have been less of a fan with these rhinestones, and seeing them in action, it's becoming a thing, is they don't have sparkle. Like, I really like the glass rhinestones because there's a real fire to them, a real sparkle. These just don't have it. So, oh, Mr. Frightful, maybe in the new year, got terrible bandwidth. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, but yeah, if the fiber optics are getting into your area. Okay, well, good luck then, because obviously, yeah, you need a fat pipe to be able to stream. Being in Chicago helps me for that. But yeah, getting out to your islands, you gotta get the infrastructure out there. Well, cool. I hope to see you online. Hopefully the pricing will not be completely gougy. That one's tough because early adopters always get screwed, so it might be still fairly pricey, but, worth it pricey versus not worth it pricey. So, good luck. Yeah, that's been my biggest concern if I was ever going to cut ties with Chicago and move to an alpaca farm, is can I have decent bandwidth at said alpaca farm? So, but I feel the tech is spreading, and especially this year since people need bandwidth so much more, there's been a lot of push to have better infrastructure places, so. Oh, you're not in the Islands anymore? Really? Oh, okay. Well, there shows what I know. I don't keep up with things. I'm terrible. This year I have been on Facebook more than I've been in years. Like, I kind of dropped off Facebook when I got my last job for a variety of reasons. And so I am behind on a lot of people's stuff. Clearly, move back to an island. But yeah, I think the tech is spreading. More and more places are getting proper hookups. Because people need it. People expect it. Life flows through the internet. Alright, that's starting to look cool. Okay, it's time to knuckle down and do this zygomag arch. Because it always looks cool when it's there, but these are going to be so strange because they're so black and it's so white. Ah. Various frustrated noises. Rar rar, argobargo. I had one of the sequin I was just using fall directly into the puddle of super glue, and I'm just gonna chalk that as a loss. Don't think I'm gonna get back out of there. Huh. Alright. It's crazy how much these they're just like little barnacles. They're so obvious when there's any amount of spacing between the sections. It's coming together. Just a few more. So one of the reasons I'm trying black rhinestones, other than goth is fun, is a friend of mine from high school was interested in having me bling out a skull that she could give to a friend for Christmas. And I told her I'd try it. And at the moment, I'm not feeling black. Like, she and I talked about colors, and she liked the idea of black, and honestly, black sounds fun. But unless I could find higher quality crystals, I don't think I would necessarily do this. Because, like, these little black gems would be fine as, like, a highlighter. Ooh, although that zygomag arch looks pretty smart. That looks pretty good. How tight around did I do that? Yeah, that's pretty much the same I covered. Alright. But yeah, so that side's looking pretty okay, actually. I'm pretty happy. I think I can fit one more right up at the top of the eye here. Although I could be wrong. Alright, that's staying. Yeah, so I got that one more. It's going to make the eyes really stand out, so. You have steel wire. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it kills the bandwidth. Wow, they actually made a profit on the copper, tearing it out and replacing it with fiber 5 years ago. That's funny. Yeah, the price of copper is absurd. Like, copper wire theft is such a thing. Yeah, Chicago, we used to have more of a problem with throttling, where they would actually slow down people's bandwidth. My understanding is that's reduced a smidge, but. Yeah, let me do the other side of the skull. So there you can see my kind of halfway done. So. Yeah, I think I'm going to get this top part of the skull completely blinged out today, which I hadn't thinking. What? Words? I didn't expect to get quite this far, but I'm super happy to do so. Hadn't thinking. Good job, brain. Go team. Yeah, it was kind of funny this summer. We got a cold call sales call from our internet provider being like, so, we noticed that you guys use a lot of bandwidth. Do you want more for, you know, no money down, blah, 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 sales pitch? And we're like, sure, actually, hit me. So it was kind of a funny, like, normally you get those calls and you just want them off the phone as fast as possible. But in this actual case, we're like, that is relevant. Sure. Provide me with the service that I want. Oh, oof. Hang on. I've been in a weird position. Ugh. Ugh. If Calvin's still watching, he can stretch with me. Or any of you guys. If anybody's been sitting in your chair in a dumb position like I've been, I recommend taking a moment and stretching. Ugh. Ow. And popping your neck, if that's going to be a thing. Whew. Ugh. Oh, I just realized I'm wearing a skull shirt while working on a skull. So, yay. Okay, man. Okay, no, I guess taking a break for a desk workout is actually appropriate. Well done, not here. I was not hinting, but I will take your hint. Okay, so if I move all this to the side real quick. For anybody who has not seen this before, this channel points thing is, we're going to pick out a desk workout for me to do, and everybody else is encouraged to do the workout with me. Because all of us are indoors more right now, and probably not getting out and about and doing, everything that we should be doing to, like, take care of our bodies. So let's go to browser view. I actually do take vitamin B, but I get seasonal effectiveness disorder, so kind of super need it. There we go. Boop. Boop. Alright. So, for anybody who hasn't played this before, there are, apparently on this ridiculous website I found from Snack Nation, 25 office exercises. I will not do some of them here, either because I don't have the space or other reasons for me personally that I won't be doing them. So it actually comes out to about 20, which means I can roll a d20 and figure out what it is. So, alright, not here. Let's see what I got. Today, 18. Wow. Alright. Let's scroll on down. See what 18 is. Oh, shoulder rolls. Oh, I'm all for this. Okay, guys. Raise both shoulders up toward your ears, then slowly roll them backwards. Repeat rolling forwards. Do this 3 times in both directions. Alright. Alright. I got this. So, okay. So, raise them up and then roll them backwards. So 1, 2, 3, and then do it the other direction. So 1, oh, that feels funny going forward. 2, 3. All right, no, actually, yeah, that does a thing. All right, did anybody else do that? Anybody else do a shoulder roll? Which is remarkably appropriate, actually, for what I've been working on, so thank you, not here. That's a good one. Heck yeah. No, these have been okay. These dumb desk exercises are actually kind of literally the right thing these days. So, all right. Thank you for using your channel points. Those are always really funny. So, here we go. Put that back. Any excuse to roll a d20. It really, that's where this rolls out to. All right. Hydration, I guess, is another one that'd be good. I'm not drinking tea this time. You know what? I'm going to do that. Not here. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go grab a quick cup of water because I've been streaming for over an hour, and that also is good. So I'm gonna put up my sweet AFK message again. So if you guys want to look at that skull further, it's great. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I am back. I'm hydrated, and I walked around a little bit and looked at things that were far away. So all of that's probably useful. Alright, and I will minimize Snack Nation. I really should look at the rest of that website to make sure it's not super stupid, but I like their list of exercises. So, okie dokie. I noticed there's a rhinestone sitting next to this, but I don't think it... Whoop. I didn't lose it. We're good. But I did knock... That knocked one off. Alright. Don't throw your art project in your lap, you guys. It's real bad for it. For anybody who needs that reminder. I think I need a new toothpick. That one's starting to get a little funko. So my project this morning was to tidy up my dining room. I use the term dining room somewhat loosely, but it's what I got. But we have a room with our dining room table in it. It's also, if ever I get to have guests, it would be the guest room, the guest bedroom. It contains the futon, and it has a door on it, so if you're staying as a guest, you actually get a modicum of privacy, which is not something I've ever had at a Chicago apartment before. Any guests I ever had were just on the couch. So this is nice that now I have a guest room with a door that closes, but the rest of the time, it's the dining room. And entropy / ennui is a weird thing, and so I was like, okay, if I'm going to use this for Christmas stuff, I want to be able to like set out my Christmas decorations, and then when I'm doing cards or packages or whatever I'm going to be doing, I want to be able to have the space to work in this room. And I should get rid of the other weird stuff that's kind of collected here over time. Oh man, I had a lot of weird stuff just jammed in weird corners. You know, you start to stack something and you kind of forget what is in the stack. So literally 3 different paper handle bags from takeouts. Not like the dirty takeout containers, but the nice big carrier bag that they bring the whole thing in. Oops. Just squirreled in corners, flattened nicely and tucked somewhere. Something real dumb. A couple of different shipping boxes from things, and a lot of paperwork, a lot of filing and stuff that I did the filings. They're actually in the file boxes, but I never put the file boxes away. So I excavated that room today, and then of course by doing that, I vacuumed everything because there's all the stuff I've been working around. So I had to vacuum it. I cleaned the windows. And man, that room is massive when you take all the extra crap out of it. It's weird. So it feels very spacious, and sadly, the spaciousness of that room is being offset by the fact that I just took everything that had been in it and just piled it in a different room. So I'm going to actually have to address that after I get off a stream. But you know what? Still, like, progress has been made. Feeling overall pretty good about the whole project. And then I can finally get my Christmas stuff out. One of the other things that was stopping me from doing Christmas stuff is I had to finish putting my balcony furniture away, because I don't leave it out on the balcony all winter just to, get weathered. But it kind of got jammed in front of where I have my Christmas decor, so I had to move all that. So Kipple, oh, there's a cool term. Yeah, it just breeds. It's anti-entropic force, whereby energy enters the universe as matter. I love it. That is clearly demonstrable and real. Because, oh my god, it's just the stuff that was in there. And you're like, those carrier bags are actually going to be really useful, because when I'm sending packages, I usually wrap them in brown paper, so great, they're actually very relevant right now to me. But, yeah, there was a lot. It was kind of bad. So, the room looks very nice now. There's a little bit of dusting I could stand to do, which I both kind of should and shouldn't do. Dusting at this point would be one of those tasks that I would do to not do other things that maybe are more pressing. But it would be nice. So, we'll see. But I really want to get my outdoor holiday lights up on my balcony pretty soon. The weather's been chilly, but clear. Sorry, Ohio, by the way. We're cold here, but there's been only blue skies. But it'd be nice to get the stuff up before it does start to get all slushy and growed. It is interesting to have grown up in a snowbelt and be currently living outside of a snowbelt. So Chicago is where you get to watch the snow hitting somebody else, and it doesn't hit us. Philip K. Dick invented the word. All right. That doesn't surprise me. What's my problem, okay, is so kibble is those useless objects, garbage and things. The one I'm even worse at is the J.R.R. Tolkien term from The Lord of the Rings, which is mothams. And mothams are objects that don't really have a purpose anymore, but people have had for such a long time, or they're so nice that you can't get rid of them. That one I'm real bad at. So, like, gum wrappers and things like that, they grow and they'll be a problem, but when I address the problem, it's gone. It's mothams that I'd be like, well, I've always had this. I can't not have that. Thank you, literature, for giving us useful terms that we need sometimes in our life. Need more. I feel like my super glue is drying out faster and faster, and I wonder if it's because it's warming up. Because I store my super glue in the freezer to elongate its life, so hot tip anybody. That works really well, and so now that it's at room temperature, I wonder if that's why it's drying faster. Oh, yeah, these are pretty unforgiving. Because, like, the back has these weird gaps, which I don't love. But overall, it's got nice coverage now, though. I think that doing the bedazzling like this really is a practice in... You need the mass. You can't just put one on and be done. You need a lot of it to look good. Yeah, I think... Oh. Mr. Frightful, you said that you managed to lose the tube you opened last week. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, and I do that. I'll, like... And something about super glue, too. Like, you're like, I know I have one that's open. I don't want to open another one. I know I have an open one. I don't want to open another one. What the hey? And inevitably, like, you open the other one, and then you find it. And it's dried out. So that's what I'm saying. Put it in the freezer. And then it's at least a limited area that you'll have lost it in. Oh, I was gonna say too, I gotta get my lights up. And then the other thing I've got to dig out is my holiday cards. Because since the mail has been rough this year, I want to get those out actually kind of early. Which, I mean, heck, that's something I say every year anyway, but I mean it. I would rather get those sent out. And I am sort of lucky, I guess. I have a lot of Christmas cards just in with my stuff right now because I always buy pretty big packs of them to give to my volunteers, and I don't have any volunteers this year, so I've got some nice Christmas cards just ready to roll. And you know what? Fine. Because usually my Christmas card game is not mighty. I'm pretty bad at sending cards for anything ever, really. Yeah, my love language is not written. Here we go. So I usually don't think of it. But this year seems like a good year to be sending out cards. People want to get mail right now. I'm sure as heck not going to see anybody. So might as well do the fun thing. That'll be a nice, get the season started kind of feeling. Well, get the season started in a way that's not just pumpkin pie. That is a big old gap. I swear, sometimes they just, like, bond instantly, and it's like, well, that'll never move again. Too bad, so sad. The other thing I'm going to have to clean up around here is to see if we can have a living tree this year. Because the place we had it last year, we moved furniture since then, so I can't do exactly what I did last year. And my apartment is quite wee, so gotta figure out how I can put a tree in here. Because I love having fresh trees, and it turns out fresh pine trees for Christmas are actually more environmentally friendly than artificial ones, which felt backwards to me, but they're just a crop. So they're just a cultivated crop, so the fact that you're cutting down trees doesn't really count, since it's, it's like saying you're cutting down wheat. And then, and having the Christmas tree farms isn't particularly bad for the environment, but of course manufacturing lots of plastic is. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I get to feel really good about having a nice smelling tree in my house. Sweet. I even have a favorite Christmas tree vendor in Chicago It's this really cute little farm stand that they always set up by one of the L stations that I go to or used to go to, and they sell pumpkins in the early fall, and they sell Christmas trees for the winter, and that's like their gig in this little spot. So the rest of the year, I'm assuming they do other stuff, although I haven't really talked to the guy at length. I should ask him what he does the rest of the year. But they're just really nice people, so. And it's always fun when you get to see the same people year after year in the same spot, and again, kind of get to know the community. Okay, so I've got the little nose starting there. Just a little bit more to go there. Yeah, I'm actually going to finish this top bit today. Crazy. Yeah, Mr. Frightful. Yeah, there's a lot of good uses for the old trees. So don't put them in the landfill, obviously, then they're a bummer. But in Chicago, they have big collection sites. People can pile up, there's just massive piles of old Christmas trees at the end of the season, and they just throw them all into chippers and then use them to mulch the parks around Chicago for the rest of the year. Like, it's real, real nice. So yeah, they're just a perfectly okay, like, resource that, if done well, can actually be a real benefit to a community. So, who knew? And sometimes the artificial tree is just how you have to go. Like, people shouldn't feel bad for having artificial trees. But it's interesting that you can actually have kind of a net positive depending on where you source your tree from and how you use it. I don't know if people saw the story about the Rockefeller Square, New York Christmas tree. So every year, New York City puts up a giant Christmas tree. And the one that they purchased this year, when the truck was unloaded, they discovered that a saw-whet owl had been trapped inside the tree and then inside the truck for 3 days. So it was badly dehydrated and kind of knocked around. But they, got it to a rescue group pretty quick and were able to successfully release it back into the forest that it originally came from just a few days later after it recovered a bit. So, and I just happen to really like saw-whet owls because they're stupid cute. And it was nice that, it didn't have a super sad ending. Because it wasn't injured, it was just trapped in a truck. So, not a great environment for the little guy, but... Or girl. I think she ended up being female. But, yeah. It's really lucky that someone unloading the truck even noticed her, because saw-whet owl adults are, like, half the size of a pigeon? They're really, really, really tiny little owls. I've never gotten to taxidermy one, although I was nearby when someone else was doing one, and they're super cute. They're one of the classic ones where people are like, "Oh, is that a baby?" And you're like, "No, dude. this is just an astonishingly tiny owl." You guys have an artificial Christmas tree, Mr. Frightful? Yeah, I mean, those summer deals, the off-season deals for Christmas stuff, are a little hard to pass up. Yeah, no reason to feel bad, but something to consider if that one reaches the end of its life and you're not sure if you're going to get another one or not. Maybe err on the side of not. Figure out what's actually best for your situation. And if it continues to be an artificial tree, then it's an artificial tree. That's how that is, but it's kind of cool to know there's options. Alright, so I got the other Zygomatic arch covered, so yeah, I'm not loving these black rhinestones, but they're, now that I've got more on, they're not as bad as I was afraid they were going to be, which is not super generous, but that's where I'm at, so... Let me see if I can get like this little bit here covered. Eh. All right. I think that's the best I'm going to get. So I'm done with this for today. Let me zoom in. You guys have 3 artificial trees. Yeah, no, like, and hand-me-down stuff is always environmentally friendly. Like, that, if it's already out there, someone already took care of purchasing it, then it's always a benefit to extend its life. So, and again, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about it. I just like the fact that turns out fresh trees are more sustainable than I had figured. Oh, no, it's this one. Alright, so I'm going to try and zoom again so you guys can see this a little closer. So, zoop. Let's get up here. Zoop, zoop. Alright. So, you can see it's really gappy. There's weird... Whew. Ah! I'll put that back on a second. But, you know, like, you can really see between the gemstones. Obviously, this part I haven't covered because I'm going to put the lower mandible on there. But, so it's not bad, but I think I would paint the skull potentially. And I think I need higher quality rhinestones. And I had a rhinestone pop off, and I'm not 100% sure where it came from. I think I know. Going back to Christmas trees, I also don't have an artificial Christmas tree because I can't even imagine... Oh, I should put this back. Where I would possibly store it. I just have no storage at all in my apartment, so... It's much more space conscious for me to just get a new one and mulch it every year. I don't think that's going to stay on. No. You know what? I'll leave that one off. Because I don't want to get more glue out. But only glue one thing. So, okay. Well, I'm really happy that I'm getting faster at these. So if I do start blinging out larger skulls and stuff... Actually, I'll put it in here. Boop. There, you guys can see it a little better. So it's interesting. The black is interesting. I'm not sure if I love it. I think I don't. But maybe I would love it more if I had better quality rhinestones. So that's worth looking into. Okay. And so I have one more skull and I have one more type of rhinestone. So that skull was wet today, so I can't work on it today. However, what I put the rhinestones? For anybody who didn't get to see these, actually, let me see if I can. I have another container somewhere that I was going to put these rhinestones in. Let's figure out where I jammed that. I can put them in my weird box. I I do have another one. Haha! Just had to dig far enough. Okay, here's my next box for my next set of rhinestones so I can load this up. So these rhinestones are nicer. I mean, you can see they're literally labeled uber luxury. Because sure. And like they aren't in a plastic baggie. Oh no, they're folded into here. So let's see how big of a mess I end up making with this. Alright. Oh, these are interesting. They've got a textured back on them, which is real nice. So that'll give the glue something to adhere onto. So these are my new... These are the expensive rhinestones that I got off this site. So these are actually made of glass. And so you can actually use like hot glue or things to put them on. They're heat resistant as opposed to the plastic ones, which would just melt. And they've got some sparkle. Like these look immediately nicer. They're very similar to the ones from my nail kit, which are sparklier still. So, okay, so these are just plain white. These are smaller, as it turns out, and have a little bit of pink to them. Oh, wow, you can really see the sparkles from these. Ah, these are so much nicer than pretty much everything. These guys don't quite have the sparkle, but they definitely have some. It's not bad. I didn't expect them to be bigger. Okay, and then we've got the black ones, which, you know, a little bit of sparkle, but they've definitely got more of that plastic sheening to them. So I think next week, or even maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll just do, for my tinkering stream tomorrow, because I didn't have a solid plan on what I was going to work on for my regular Thursday stream. I might do the other mouse skull in these guys and see how I like it. Because these little ones have been great, and I'm not sure how I would source these outside of the nail kit that I bought. I can figure it out, but... And they definitely have a pink sheen to them. Because this came out with, like... It doesn't show up too much on here, but there's a slight, like, pink and green toning to these. They don't have just, like, that crisp white. And then this guy is, yeah... very spotty. Yeah, so these are fun. I'm glad to try them out. I have one rat skull ready to go that I could potentially bling out, which I think rat skulls, young rat skulls, would be probably the smallest size I would do. Actually, I can show you guys just for the size comparison. Okay, so we have our little mouse skull there. And so, whoop. So that's a mouse, that's a rat. Rio Grande might have from an upholstery supplier. Ooh, I could check. Yeah, mostly I was looking on crafting sites, but the other rhinestones I had were for fingernails, and that was from cosmetics, so no, to check it out. But yeah, so you can see like the rat skull would be a little more forgiving. It's much bigger, and this is a juvenile rat. This is a fairly young rat. They can get, you know, 25% bigger. I wouldn't even say 50% bigger, but 25% bigger than that. So I can see doing a rat skull being a little easier in some ways because you just have more space to work with, and the spottiness isn't going to show up as much. As on the mouse. Meh, I'll keep playing with it. I haven't decided yet if I'm willing to bling out this skull. This rat skull has sentimental value for me. This is the skull of the first rat that I ever did as like a decorative lifelike model. And so, you know, there's a little meaning here. It's a good rat. Good skull. The model itself is out on my balcony, or on my landing. And not in the greatest of shape for a couple of reasons, but moving is hard. So, okay, so I am done with my projects for today. So, I want to see if my friend is still on, if we can raid him. Let's see. Yes! Well, actually, let me refresh the page. Let's be completely sure. Yeah, no, he's still on. So, alright, everybody, so here is the plan. I would love to go and do the raiding thing again. It worked out really well yesterday, I feel. So let's go and raid Wynock. He is a cool guy doing cool paper crafts, and hopefully he will appreciate the surprise. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you. While I'm doing my Wednesday stream is my one that's unscheduled. This is just weird projects that kind of pop up, and I didn't know how it was going to work out. Thursdays tend to be a little fancier, but not by much. So I will hopefully see a bunch of you folks tomorrow, and everybody be nice to each other, take care. And now let's go figure out if I can bother him. So let's see. Raid channel. Pick a channel. There he is. Boop. Alright, start raid. Alright, so you guys, I think you get a little pop-up or something, so if everybody can go raid him. And raid now. Alright, here we go. See you guys later.
Back of the blade, back of the throat. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hit me with the breeze block. Hit me with the breeze block style. Brick a bat, baseball bat. But since this part is going to have a lot of well, it's going to determine a lot of how the you know, the feel of it, physicality, the tactility. I'm not putting in extra work. Magazine. Anyway, big, blocky, grotesque automatic pistol button thing. Something a space Nazi would use. The space Nazi from the cardboard dimension. Even if I am imagining Nazis, I'm imagining them weak ass. Oh hey, somebody even asked me what I was making. And so multiple things. We're gonna hello. This is a very flimsy card underneath this, and this shape is a toilet paper tube that's unrolled. I had 4 of them. I just wanted to see like what it would look like, because I've been making a lot of things with these like curved shapes out of card. Since so much of the what I do is the paper mache, like it needs to dry in between layers. And then this, I made this front piece like a minute ago. I thought, oh, maybe it should be a bug, maybe it should be this, maybe it should be that. No, it's a dagger, obviously. Big garbage dagger. So I put the handle on it. The core of it, too, is a bunch of hangers. I'm in somebody else's room, and there's like 100, 200 hangers right over there that, like, nobody's going to use anymore. But yeah, welcome to Weapon World. I had the notion, like, for a long time I've wanted not to make, like, replica weapons or whatever, even though that's exactly what my hindbrain wants, is, oh, I should make weapons from video games. I should make, wouldn't like a gun that looked like this be cool? But like, weapons shouldn't exist. So I pushed back. But then I was looking at some porn and had a moment of self-realization. As you do. Oh, I'm back. It's 5 centimeters exactly. Oh, awesome. Awesome. What kind of glue are you using? Had the hot glue setting, so well I do. So this is tacky glue, aliens, mixed with water. Probably like 1 part to 3 or 4. And I strongly recommend like a juicy little container like this that you can put in the microwave if you're going to do a lot of it. Because heating it up makes the glue dissolve faster, and you know, it's nice when your fingers don't get cold. Probably should be doing this out of card too for this bottom piece, since it's going to see a lot of wear, but I guess I'm not too worried about it. Proof of concept. This is a proof of concept. Trying to do a proof of concept. Trying to prove a concept is what I'm trying to do. Ah. That's a good tip.